Get to 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
if we take 20, it's not a problem. Just
it's 24 seconds.
Try to fit also the other guys before the concert starts. Otherwise, it's gonna be messy.
It makes sense.
Okay. Well, let me start first. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. My name is Johnny Pluckman, and this is Andrea.
Andrusky.
And we're representing Alternative Control, which is an online blog. We do stuff mostly related to metal, music, and some other local things. Just a lot of lifestyle stuff, but mainly centered around metal. So
cool.
So this is a cool thing for us to have talking to like a big metal band like you guys.
Thank you.
All right. So welcome back to America.
Thanks.
Is this the first night of this tour?
It's the second actually. So we had the first gig in Springfield, Virginia. And it was we had a lot of issues because Septicflesh gear has been lost at the airport, so we had a lot of problems for the first gig. But we reacted very well, so we're pretty satisfied with the beginning, and we had a lot of pretty crowdy concert for the first one, so we've been pretty happy about that. And then we had a day off in New York yesterday, so I was really happy because it doesn't happen that often, and I love New York City. So
nice.
Oh, nice. There's a lot of stuff to do in New York, so if you get a free day here,
yeah.
I mean, I live around here,
no,
so I take it for granted.
and I really like it. It's not just because I'm here, but I really like it. So I've been happy to be here yesterday, and I expect a good night tonight. I'm sure it's gonna be very good.
Awesome. Well, that brings me back. I saw you guys last August when you were here, when you toured with Winter Sun and Arsis, and again, it was a fantastic set that night.
Thanks.
And one thing I wanted to comment about the act that you guys do, in addition to just going up there and playing the songs, you have a look. You guys have your costumes, and there's background to it when you come out on stage. You don't just come out on stage with jeans and a wallet chain. You're like, hey, we're FLESHGOD Apocalypse. Next song is called blah blah blah.
Yes.
So, is that something that you guys feel is a very important part of what you do, or how do you feel that affects the performance?
Yes. Because the thing is, we conceive our art as one thing that should really comprehend not only the hearing part, not only the music, but the visual part is very important, the concept behind is very important. So we really try to make everything from the videos to the live shows and the albums and the lyrics to match all together, because we really care about the message that there is behind the music. So I think the point is, a show, in my opinion, must be a show and must be something that is between music and theater and not just going there and playing. So this is why we do that, and the good thing is that it came very natural. So even if we think about a lot of things that we do on stage, it's also something that really comes from the personality of everybody in the band, and I feel like everyone is really building up his character, and it's cool to see that people recognize the different characters and it works like this. So I really hope it's gonna work like this forever, because the first thing is that we are good friends beside the fact that we are colleagues and we work together. So I think that's very important in the chemistry of a band, because today it's very common to have a lot of bands who have continuously lineup switches, but we really believe that the lineup is something that has to go beyond the fact of playing music together. There have to be a relationship between the members. So it's good to know that we come from the same place and we started together and we are doing this together. It's a very important message, and I think the energy comes from this reason mainly.
All right. And then as a follow-up to that, the look that you guys have, is that something, I mean, it's something that is in the Violation video. Did that come from the video and then it's sort of stuck to, go on larger, or was that something that you had already decided beforehand, the video was just an actualization of that?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't start with that from the very beginning, actually. The first year we started touring with Oracles, we still didn't come up with that idea, but actually the idea was there from the beginning. We just needed some time to understand how to do that, and the Violation was our way to try to spread this idea throughout the video, and sending the message in order to have people already ready for this when we went on stage for the first time like this. But the cool thing is that, as every other thing in the band, we thought about this look not just because it's cool, and I know it's cool, it works, but it's because it really incarnates the idea behind the band. So it's the visual expression of what we do in our music. It's something that is really brutal, but in the same time is very romantic, it's very grandiose. So this is the idea behind the band, and I really hope that the look matches the idea that is behind, but I think it's working, so it's good.
Yeah, it's there.
Definitely.
It's definitely working. I can
you.
tell you that.
Thanks.
So let's talk about Italy for a minute.
Yes.
You guys are from Italy, obviously. You're from Rome, correct?
Actually, there's this idea that we are from Rome, but we are from Perugia. That is a pretty small city in between Rome and Florence. It's not a very famous place because it's pretty small, but yeah, it's correct in some way because our guitarist Cristiano is actually from Rome. Francesco, our drummer, is in a place that is right between Perugia and Rome. So we are, that's the area, like central Italy. But now we are established in Perugia, and that's where we have our studio and everything. So that's where we live now, and we try to live only in the same area because we need to. We do a lot of work beside the tours, so it's important to be in the same place.
So is it true what they say? When in Rome?
What do you mean?
Is there the expression "when in Rome"? You ever heard people say that, or they say that in Italy?
What?
Okay, in America, there's an expression that when you're thinking, "Oh, should I go all out on this?" and you say, "Well, when in Rome."
Okay.
So it's saying when you're in Rome, you go all out.
Yeah.
Do people go all out in Rome?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't know that. Sorry.
Okay, it's a cultural fact.
No, I know it.
That's a good one.
If you don't know what to say to an American one time, just be like, "When in Rome."
Okay.
Nothing can come across that.
Okay, so also going off Italy, and this might be just a misconception on our part, but it seems, at least to me, that there's a lot of, the metal exports coming from Italy, a lot of it is power metal. There's bands like Rhapsody or Vision Divine or Athena and something like Lacuna Coil. So like bands like you and Hours of Penance and like Grave Worm, for example, sort of break out of that. Would you say that inside Italy it's majority more like on the power metal side, or is that only what we see?
Yeah, that was also, I would say, there was a period, like in the late 90s it was really big. So it was big even outside because we had all those bands going out like Rhapsody, and they did a lot of stuff outside Italy, in Europe, and not only. And also in Italy it was pretty, pretty popular. But like now in general, I think in the metal scene in general, and in Italy especially, the thing of power metal is a little bit, lower than before. Even if these bands obviously always have their recognition because it's they did very good things in the past, and it's cool to see that now, in some way, it's extreme music's turn. You know what I mean? Because even with the fact of Our Penance and so not only us, it's cool to see that there are other bands that are doing good on that side. We also have like another band that recently came out that is from our hometown, and they're good friends of us, called Blood Truth, that are on a Unique Leader now, and this is cool to see, like in a small town like ours, and in general in the area between Perugia and Rome, these things are happening, and our Penance are doing great tours. We are good friends with them. We also worked with them in some way in the past because our drummer was their singer. So it's cool to see that this scene is growing, and in my opinion now extreme music is taking over a little bit, and something is happening. So it's really cool to see that something's moving there. But on the other hand, Italy is really having a hard time with the economy, and the social situation is not really good as it was like 15 years ago. So now I think that art is suffering too, and bands really tend to go outside, even because there is not the chance to do things in Italy like it was before, like in the late 90s. So even for us, we play pretty rarely in Italy, but just because it's very hard to create the right situation with promoters and booking and clubs to do a proper show and everything. So that's a shame. I hope it's gonna change, because I know that even bands that are touring Europe in this moment, it's very easy that they skip Italy because they don't find the right situation to play. But that's mainly connected to the fact that our mentality is a little bit, too much maybe old school on some things. So if on one side we are very big for which regards like art and history, so like everything that regards the story and visual arts, like we had so many things during history, so we are famous for that. But we have this difficulty into looking at the future and trying also to move towards different directions. So maybe in some way the country seems not to be that ready for this kind of music, you know what I mean?
That's funny. I'm in a band out of Stamford, Connecticut. We have similar problems with the city and the venue and all that.
Yeah.
I know.
And bands just pass
Smaller
over
scale,
us too. So
yeah.
it's not just Italy.
Yeah, I guess.
So what are some of like your favorite musicians, bands, or types of music to listen to? Obviously, FLESHGOD is a combination of a couple different diverging things. But like, so what personally do you like to listen to?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I have very, very different tastes because I think at certain point growing up and being a musician, you start understanding that there is just one distinction, and it's good music and bad music. So I really love listening to everything. So for which regards metal music, so if we want to talk about what is into FLESHGOD, obviously you got classical music and metal music. And I really feel that our roots are really based on the old school American death metal music. So even if we are very European and we sound very, we could say, even if it's not the proper word, melodic, because we have all these progressions from classical music. But in the riffing and in the drumming, I feel we have a lot of the old school metal, because that's what we've been listening to the most. So like Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, DSI, Vital Remains, all this kind of stuff. On the other hand, obviously there's the classical music, and it's something that in different ways everybody have in the band have an heritage on that side. And for our music, our main inspirations come from the pre-romantic and the romantic period. So everything that goes from Paganini to Beethoven, Mozart, Rachmaninoff, and Brahms, or whatever between the 18th and the 19th century. But we are also really much into like composers for movie themes like Hans Zimmer or Howard Shore or John Williams, and I think we also have a lot of that stuff in our music, especially in Labyrinth. I've noticed that Francesco, our pianist working on the arrangement, he really took a lot of inspiration from that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, I love very different kinds of music. I'm a big fan of grunge rock music. I've been recently, like the day before we left for this tour, I've been to Milan to see Pearl Jam live, and it was my first time. And to me, Eddie Vedder is one of the biggest inspiration, even as a frontman, even if I do completely different music. And I really love jazz, so this is also why I love New York City, because I'm a big fan of jazz in general. And so everything from from the 30s, from Django Reinhardt throughout I would say all the 20th century, Charles Mingus, Duke Ellington, whatever. So I really love it, and that's what I normally listen to. Like from metal to jazz, everything for me is good inspiration.
Yeah, I want to comment. It's interesting you say about how he's taken the influence from the movie composers. When I've played not just FLESHGOD, but any symphonic or even just melodic death metal in general to people that don't listen to that type of music, their first reaction is usually, "I feel like I'm watching a movie," or this music feels so like dramatic, enveloping. Like I feel like I'm watching a movie. So yeah.
Yeah, I also think that's also the reason why it really works with the visual part of the show, because it's very dramatic. It's very big, so it really works with that kind of idea of show. It wouldn't be the same without the orchestra and the piano, I think.
Okay, so going on that same leg, if you could put together a dream tour for FLESHGOD, who would be on it with you, and where would you go?
Wow.
And it could be any musician, live or dead, whether it could be performed live or not. Like if you could call all the shots, what would it be?
Wow, this is very hard. No, I would. Let's say this. One thing I could imagine, and this is my idea, my vision. I would think about a FLESHGOD tour obviously with orchestra, and I would put the Wiener Philharmoniker there because that's my favorite orchestra, and the director would be Leonard Bernstein, that in my opinion has been maybe the best director of the 20th century, and he also did a lot of things for to spread the idea of music, because he's been doing like in the 70s that, I don't know if you've ever seen that, there was a show that he did with the New York Philharmonic, and they were like explaining harmony to the people, like it was like a series on TV, and they were doing very simple examples to explain to people how harmony and music theory works, and that was really interesting because he took care about trying to share this idea and trying to pass this musical culture to normal people. So I really love him as a man and as a musician, and I think he's been one of the best directors. And also Wiener Philharmoniker, so usually they have like a council and they elect their director, so it's the only orchestra that do that, so they decide who is the director, and he's been the only one who's been chosen for 2 years in a row, so that makes you think how big it was. So if I could play with them, that would be like the biggest dream ever.
And you do that in Vienna, or you want to go somewhere more exotic?
Maybe in Vienna, and maybe on the New Year's Eve concert, because that's the biggest thing they do and one of the biggest things in classical music in the world. So obviously, I don't think they're gonna allow FLESHGOD Apocalypse to play on New Year's Eve, but
not with that kind of attitude.
Yeah. No, exactly.
We're gonna conquer.
Yes,
Yeah, you got to conquer the Philharmonic.
Yeah.
Next step.
Maybe we should buy some new stage suits with no blood and nothing on it. So that would be better.
Just wipe the dust off it.
Yes.
Like, no, we're supposed to be
makeup,
here.
no makeup, like shaved and everything. Yes.
Oh, man.
That's great. So, I guess, I don't know, 17 two questions here. How are we doing on time?
We have like 5 more minutes.
Okay.
3 more minutes.
Okay, so I'll ask you this. This is another opinion question. And you can speak for yourself or for the band or however you want. What would you say is your least favorite celebrity or public figure?
My what?
Least favorite, public figure or celebrity. It could be a celebrity, it could be a musician, it could be...
So you mean the worst?
Yeah, the worst.
Berlusconi, of course. Silvio Berlusconi.
Silvio Berlusconi. Who's that?
He has been like... he's the head of a political party in Italy.
Oh.
And he has been changing Italian mentality for 20 years, pushing the mentality to the mafia side for 20 years, and now our country is in a very difficult situation because this mentality has been spreading, and he represents the connection between mafia and the state that are becoming the same thing. So this is, I know you would expect something more like maybe on the musical side, but I really because it's a big thing in Italy. It's a huge thing. So like it's the idea that passed, that you can be a criminal and deal with those kind of criminality and still continuing being a politician and do things for the nation, but obviously it's not for the nation, it's for himself or whatever. So that I think that I speak for the whole band, because in this moment we were having a lot of troubles with politics and economy, and most of this is due to this 20 years in which he really changed the mentality into much worse. And also music is suffering for the same reason, because when you have this kind of social situation going on, art and culture in general is dropping down. So, that's what I mean.
And is that the concept behind the Mafia EP?
In a way, like the Mafia EP is in general about mafia and the idea that is behind, but that perfectly connects to that is the idea to use fear to make people think that they need them to protect them from something that actually doesn't exist, because they are creating this thing. So it's
sociopaths.
And it was like a second part of what we were talking about in Oracles, because that's the same thing. We were talking about how institutions use fear to convince people about things that they don't need, and then change their mind and let them do what they want just because they use fear against them. And Mafia is based on that. They're like okay, you don't earn enough money, you have to pay too much taxes, so if you work for me, you're not going to pay taxes, I'm going to protect you, and I'm going to make you rich. But obviously it's a circle, and the state is going down and down because nobody pays taxes, and then things are getting worse and worse, and taxes are higher. And in the end, the people who pays is us, like the normal people, not those people. You know what I mean? So it's a bad thing going on. But we try to do our best and keep doing it.
That's all we can do.
Yes, of course.
So sketchy, huh?
Okay, so what's next for you guys once you get across the country? I think you end in California. What are you doing after that? You sticking around, or are you going back to Italy?
No, we actually, like, right after California, we're going to Arizona, and then we finish in Denver, and after that we fly straight to Mexico, because we got 2 gigs in Mexico, so we're gonna do Guadalajara and Mexico City, and then we come back to Italy. But then actually we have a pretty busy summer, because we got a few festivals between July and August. We're gonna do Vacan Open Air for the first time, so that's a very important goal. So we're very already concentrating on that, because we need to do a good show there. I'm sure we will do, but it's exciting, at least. We're doing Brutal Assault, so we're doing some good festivals, and then finally, after a long time, we're gonna take like 10 days of vacation for real. So we're gonna, because we have one show in Sardinia Island that is in the middle of the Mediterranean. It's a beautiful place, like seaside and everything. So we have a show there, and then we're gonna take like 10 days to stay there for some vacation. And then we're working on the fall, because we for sure we're gonna do more things. We're gonna do a European tour with Insomnium, and then we're trying to work on something else for the end of the year, but still nothing sure. But we're pretty much keeping touring and promoting Labyrinth until the end of the year, and then start thinking also about new material. So let's see what happens now.
I was gonna say maybe we sneak in South America in there, because I know many people want to see you down there. But is it too far-fetched, or?
No. I mean, the good thing is that I think.
Besides Mexico,
Yeah. You mean South America?
South America, like in the future, not this one tour.
No. We are really thinking about that, and the right time to do that. So we still don't know how and when to put it, but we really want to do that, because we know that we have a lot of fans there, and we would like to go to Brazil and Argentina, Colombia, whatever, because also no one of us have ever been in South America, and I think it would be really interesting, beside the musical thing, but I think it's going to be awesome. Like for Richard Central America, we did one show like 3 months ago with DSI in Costa Rica, and it was amazing. So I know that like Brazil, for example, is going to be awesome. We've been touring Europe with the guys from Crisian, and they were telling us, guys, you gotta come, and so who knows, maybe we can also arrange something with them. That would be awesome, because we are super big fans of Crisian, and they're very good guys, so we really love them. So we'll think about. We are already thinking about something. We just have to find the right situation to do that.
Yes. All right, I think.
Okay.
Let's see.
We're getting
23 minutes.
Okay.
No worries.
Well, last question. Did you guys bring any of that pasta?
No, we didn't.
I wanted to try
I know. We can ship it, but we cannot bring it physically, because it's pretty hard with the. First of all, because when like for transportation on these kind of tours, you gotta take flights, and you have like limited weight, so we gotta bring the gear and everything. It's not easy to ship all this stuff, and also it's not easy like with FDA. There's a lot of laws, and
even though it's dried pasta, it's not like it's fresh fruit.
I know, but still, it's not that easy how it seems. So in the future, we'll probably try to do that, because it's been interesting, as a experiment. People really like it, so
I'd love to see it in the supermarket. Just like I'm in the supermarket, it's like Ronzoni, FLESHGOD Apocalypse.
I hope it's gonna happen.
They should have the metal section, like all the Italians.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah. This is so much fun.
Oh yes, that's all I had prepared.
Thank you.
All right.
So that was awesome.
Thank
you very much for taking the time.
Guys.
Thank you.